Hello. Welcome, everyone. I apologize for my appearance. I was kind of hoping to get a little fixed up before I started this, but I was outside with my neighbor. God bless her. God, bless her. So wonderful lady. She's amazing. She's in her late 80s and like her core is phenomenal. But anyway, let me just fix this like really quick. I don't know how to fix it. Anyway, so, yes, and I was showing her how Penelope does Pilates. So, greetings, my beautiful angel light workers. I am Janie Daly. I am your psychic life coach. I'm a minister and a nurse. Let's see, and I have a college degree, so I am educated. Hello, Miss Jeannie. I am educated. And again, I only say that because people think that it's, I don't know what people think. I give up on that. I just like to share that too because I feel like everybody, I was a late in life student. And the idea that children go to school like out of college, like right out of high school into college is a little different because they don't know who they are. They don't know. Like we will tell them, don't you dare get married when you get out of high school. But yet we'll say, go ahead. Yeah, you're going to go to college. You're going to pay a lot of money and you better decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's too much. But anyway, I thank you guys for listening. When you show up here or replay, please hit the like, the subscribe, and the share because I really want to get as many subscribers as possible. My goal for right now is 1,000, and that's considered low, but it's still good. Right? But we got to do it. So if you guys could help me, I would be forever grateful. So I do communicate with God, with angels, with your deceased loved ones, animals, and the animals that have passed, and animals that are here. And actually, that's what my show is going to be on tonight. It's going to be about animals, animals, animals. If you'd like to have a session with me, I like to do the video sessions, or if you are close by, I will come to your home. I will come to your home too if there's like any issues. It doesn't have to be ghost related, but even if the energy just feels off, to schedule a session with me, you can send me a text message or my email address is janiedaly@gmail.com, or you can go to Facebook under Janie Daly and hit me up on Facebook Messenger. So we're going to talk about a couple things this evening. Pets. And Miss Jeannie will attest to this one story we're going to talk about. So you guys, like ever since I was little, I could always communicate with animals. Always. And I thought that everybody could do that, so I didn't think it was odd. So, in front of people, when I would go out places, I'm going to adjust this. I'm sorry. But, go out places and I'm talking to animals and I don't hesitate. I ask people, may I pet your dog, whatever. But, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And people that are like pet people or animal people, they get it. They do get it. But I do want to share this. You need to treat your animals the same way you would treat a child. And I want to say that, but the other side of that is nowadays I'm reading like people are leaving children in hot cars. So it's like, it kind of scares me because if those people think it's okay to leave a child, oh my gosh, what are they going to do with an animal too, But please be considerate of your pets because I do feel that there's many, many pets that are angels. And these animals, the ones that are angels, are not just limited to cats and dogs. It's of all species. So always be careful. And it makes me smile when somebody names their pet Karma because, you guys, karma works in every direction. What you give out, it comes back. Now, if you have bad things happening to you, come on, it doesn't mean you're doing bad things and it's karma. Yeah, bad things happen. Sometimes it's because life is a path. When you're on the right path and doing everything you should be doing, everything kind of falls into place. Doors of opportunity open. But if you're at a door and you have to keep trying to open it, walk away. So the thing also, opportunity. When you are getting your pet, for years I've been screaming from the mountaintops, let the pet pick you. When you go in to see puppies, you go to the pound, wherever you go to get your pets, you sit down, let the animal come to you. Okay? Because I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you right now, there are some pets, if they see you coming in and they see that you have a child, or they pick up that you have kids, they are going to be a nightmare. They will get to your house, and for the life of you, they will not be potty trained, or they chew, or they do things to get you frustrated because they don't want to be there. But if it's an angel animal, they're not supposed to be there. Like, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And they'll make sure somehow, some way that they get there. So always, always let your pet pick you. I mean, you have heard of, okay, I had a situation where my father passed away, and my father used to love wearing this gray sweater. And I was talking to this wonderful lady, a friend of his. He was taking care of him in his later years when he was sick. And she was always taking care of him. So I talked to her about possibly a cat. Like, if she had a pet, how would she feel? And she's like, oh, I don't know. So probably a week later, my father passed away. And probably a week after his passing, I went back to work, and I went to a client's house, and in Harford County, right? And in Maryland. And I go into the house, we had, I believe, a psychic party. And then I come out later afterwards, and I had my door open because I was loading my car up, and she had come out, somebody else had come out to talk to me real quick. Well, as we are talking, this all gray cat hopped in my car. He goes in my car, and he just goes to the back seat, and he just sits there. And I was like, hello, what are you doing, guy? And he just looked up at me and looked away like, let's go, mama. So, okay. So what I did was I introduced them, and love at first sight. This cat was supposed to, everything the way it happened was supposed to be. And I went ahead and I paid the deposit because, a lot of places require a deposit. And he had a long, happy life with her. So he was supposed to be there, and this cat knew. But that's an angel cat. That is an example of an angel cat. Because how would that cat know to hop into my car? And remember, they know beforehand. They know what's happened. They know predestination. They do. So that is so important when selecting a pet. I mean, I'm not a fan of the pet stores, but if you must go, because those poor things too, it's a whole nother story. But if you must go to a pet store, again, let the pet pick you. I don't care how cute the animal is, but if you're like, if it comes, like if you go up by its crate or cage and it looks the other way and it's ignoring you, keep walking. The dog doesn't want to go home with you. I say that with love. Anyway, so that's acquiring your pet. So let's say, now this is what Jeannie's going to be able to relate to with this story. So you get a pet, you acquire your pet, and the pet's having a good life. Looks like the pet is adjusted and everything is fine. And then all of a sudden, the pet disappears. So of course you're in a panic. You're out looking everywhere. You're doing everything, especially with cats. People are like, oh, put the litter boxes outside, do this, do that, do this, do that. You do all of that, but nothing happens. Even to the point where like you're driving in the busy locations in traffic, praying that the cat doesn't get hit in traffic. So then I come into the picture. And lots of times, if a pet has done the job that he or she is supposed to have done with you, the pet moves on. Yeah, the pet will move on. And because the job there was done and you both helped each other, you both were there for each other, you both fulfilled each other, and then it was time for the pet to move on. That angel had to go to another home and not over the rainbow bridge, still here on earth. I have seen that a lot. As a matter of fact, people will call me when their pets were lost. And I know there was, one time in particular, I could see the dog clear as day. And I'm not familiar with the neighborhood because I do remote viewing. So you can call me from any location and I will know, I'll see it in my head. So I didn't know the area, but I'm explaining to this person what I'm seeing, what the area looks like, right down to the details of a bunch of houses, single family development. And I talked about a specific playground in a backyard. And she's driving around. She's like, I see it. I see it. Yes, I see it. So sure enough, she got there and her dog was there. Okay. And in that case, it's just that the dog had fun, puppy. They're like children. That's why always watch your kids because they just kind of wander off sometimes. And this puppy was I think it saw a squirrel and this dog was newly trained off of the leash. So yeah. But then there's some cases where I will see it clearly. And I'm thinking of another situation. I described the house, I described the location, the fence, the kind of car these people drove, and they never opened the door. They never opened the door. So then upon talking to neighbors, the neighbors had seen, in this case, it was another dog. The neighbors had seen the dog, but they had called me. By this time I said, I could see the neighbors like in my head and everything. And I was like, it just seems like you've given this dog so much love, support, and the dog has done the same for you. But now it was a little girl dog. It was a girl dog. But now it was time for her to perform her magic on this new family. And they did find out down the road that they had a disabled child. And this dog came into this child's life and the dog was an angel. That's I can just leave it at that. And so, of course, the original owners that had contacted me were like, of course, keep the dog. And of course, the person who found the dog said it was weird because her gate was locked. The dog wasn't a big dog to like hop over the fence, but somehow, some way, that dog got into her backyard. And then when she saw like the reaction with her child and the dog, because her child was normally afraid of dogs, or afraid of animals, period. And they just bonded. Anyway, so she was kind enough to leave the dog there. And she has visitation. She had visitation, right? So that was nice too. Yeah, so pets who disappear. Yeah, that's amazing. And this I love too, like listening to what animals say. They do talk to you. Now, animals do telepathy. You guys, we do that when we are sleeping. We don't talk. When we go to the other side, it is all telepathy. And it's the same thing as, if I am thinking of you, it's like you will pick up my thoughts and you call me. Or I'm thinking of you and then you feel me thinking about you, and then we run into the same location, into a store. It's like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you. It's telepathy. It is simple telepathy, but that's what animals do. But anyway, so there was, I had started just dating my ex-husband, and he took me to his friend's place, and we were supposed to go for a cookout. So we get there a little early, and his friends were not there yet. So there's a dog outside. And this was like a long time ago because the dog was on a chain. I mean, it was like a friendly, wasn't tied up there, but apparently the wife had run upstairs to go get something for the grill and left the dog outside. So the dog is speaking. And I said to my ex-husband, we should go around. We need to go around the car. Don't just leave the dog alone. Oh, no, I know that dog. He knows me. We're good friends. I said, Don, it's not a good idea. Really not a good idea. Just leave the dog alone. And hello. And he didn't listen. He goes up and he said the dog's name and the dog bit him. You can't blame the dog. I clearly heard, go away. And, I said to him, you don't have to be like an animal communicator to understand when a dog's showing their teeth. That's kind of like a universal language. But anyway, and then going back to my story of you will get animals when you're supposed to. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing, Melanie? Sorry. Okay. So, my same ex, he loves golden retrievers and he wanted one, but we had like the kids, he had kids, I had kids, pretty full house. But one weekend, we decided we're going to have crabs. You're welcome. Okay. We decided we were going to have crabs. So we lived in Harford County in Bel Air, and we were going to go to a place, I think it was called Don's Crabs. I don't know if they're still there, but the crabs there were phenomenal. But anyway, so we drive there and I see a dog like on the side, but I thought it was in somebody's yard. So we go ahead, we get our crabs, come back on the back road, and we were on the back road, saw the dog in a yard, went to get the crabs, came back. The dog standing in the middle of the road, like literally standing, a nice sized golden retriever, standing in the middle of the road. So I was like, come on. So I stopped the car, obviously, and I stopped in the middle because, I wanted nobody to hit the dog. So my youngest son was in the back seat, and I said, okay, just stay here. And I went over and I'm like looking at the dog. I mean, because you always have to be careful, obviously. But he, with his eyes, he's like, I'm not going to bite you. So I like pet him and I was like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing out in the middle of the street? And he had a tag, but I couldn't really read it. And it had a number. And I think back in those days, we didn't have the cell phones yet. We had beepers. So long ago. Anyway, so he wouldn't move. And I did go to the house that I saw him, like driving up. I went there. Nobody answered. Went across the street. Nobody answered. No one was home. Or no one was answering, I should say. So I take him home. And everybody fell in love with this dog. Everybody. And even my ex, who's kind of like difficult to please, I say that with love. He's not feeling well. And Don, I'm sending you prayers. But anyway, yeah, he fell in love with the dog. And this was in May. So the dog was great with the kids. Seriously, there's a lot of dogs. They are just inbred. They are just born therapy dogs. No training necessary, just love. That's all they require is love. And they give it back tenfold. I said to the kids, this dog's going to be ours. You'll see. Sometimes you just have to have patience. And they're like, no, we want the dog. So I called, there was a number, and I had called the number on the tag, left a message, and they called me back. And I did say to the person, if you guys ever want to rehome him, and his name was Bear, if you ever want to rehome him, please call me. We will take him in a minute. So they're like, oh, thanks, whatever. So I brought him home. I dropped him off, and the kids, everybody was upset. Even Don, who like was not emotional, he was upset. Everybody missed Bear. And because they were, I think, out of town. I don't know, something weird. But I had them like for 2 days because they're like, "Do you mind?" And I was like, "No, that's okay." And the day before Father's Day in June, I get a phone call, and it's this family that are military saying, "I have just been commissioned. I'm going to be, deployed. So my family and I have to move, and it is to Germany. We can't take our dog." So I was like, oh, sign me up. So sure enough, I went over. It didn't tell anybody in the family. All I said to everybody was, we have a really, really, really great present for Dad for Father's Day. And went, got the dog, brought him home, and oh my gosh, we had him for probably 14 years. 14 years. Yeah, he lived to be older. He lived to be older. He was the best dog, you guys. He was the best dog. He would see spirits. Ooh, he would see spirits. Because in the house that we lived there, oh my gosh, that's kind of getting off my animal story, but this is kind of neat because there was one day I hear him barking, and I go into the kitchen, and there he is at like a corner where like the counters meet. He's there in the middle, and I do see a girl, a little girl. So I was like, okay, no, it's okay. So I'm like saying to the little girl, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Come on, Bear, let's go. And I did take a picture, and you could see, like, I waited. I got the dog away. I didn't want her scared or anything, but I waited. I got Bear back, and they told him to calm down. And then I did say, I'm just going to take a picture. Is that okay? And the picture was really neat. And of course, I can't find it today. I'm sure I'll find it. I'm hoping. I lost a lot of stuff. But anyway, but that's with moving, and that's what happens. But the story on the little girl. So my Don was coming home from work one night, and he's like, who's taking a bath this time of night? Because he used to work in cars, and it was probably like 11:30 at night, and like he knew like everybody had school and work and this and that, and everybody should have been sleeping. And of course we leave lights on for him, but only the necessary. But he heard splashing in the tub, and he's like, what the heck? So he's like, and then like I said, he's very loud. He's got a loud voice. He's walking up going, who's taking a bath this time of night? This is ridiculous. It's the middle of the night. And he says he goes up the steps, and he sees no light on, because the bathroom is at the very top of the steps. No light on. No light in the bathroom. And the door's open. So he's like, like when you're trying to register something in your brain and it just doesn't make sense. And he goes in, and there's nothing. There's no water. There's no person in the bathtub. And he even went to touch the tub to see if it was wet. It was not wet. The story on that I learned is, God rest her soul, but this was a very long time ago. I don't know if it happened in the house, because you guys, things can happen on that land. Things can happen on that land. It doesn't have to necessarily be in that house. But it could even happen to where it could have been like something like in a similar house. I mean, in a house like in that neighborhood. It's amazing how things work. But anyway, point being, I did find out that little girl was in the bathroom, and the father, as YouTube would have me say, unalived her. And I don't mean that disrespectful. It's ridiculous. I can't say the words, but yes. Yeah. So she did pass away. Yeah. But it was like she was looking for her mom. Yeah. So even my kids would see her. My kids would always see her like on the steps. So whatever happened had something to do with the bathroom, because she would always be like up and down the steps. And every so often, this is kind of neat, every so often she would come along and she would either go in the living room or she would go into the kitchen, but in that one corner. That was it. So anyway, so it's really, yeah. But anyway, it was the dog who would see her, and then he got to the point he would just like wag his tail. She became part of the family as well. But animals are very intuitive. They are very, very intuitive. So, but let me explain this though really quick. Sometimes a dog will, let's say, I'm going to use you as the example. Sometimes a dog could look at you and growl, and you are the biggest animal person. And dogs follow you around everywhere, but this time, and then of course you have like an owner, somebody who like, because they know they're a dog, they think they like know like everything about animals. Oh, well, dogs know. Oh, a dog knows a good person or a bad person. That is true. That is true. But you guys, I don't want to go off like on a tangent, but they do know. But lots of times too, if a dog knows, because remember, hurt people hurt people. So if a dog knows that somebody's hurting, they're not going to growl. Not all the time. Now, if the dog knows that you are going to hurt them, I mean, there's a special kind of a growl. And, for those of you that know animals, you know that there's like people, there's special tones and everything. And then the universal, the teeth, Barry. But anyway, so in this case, though, what I'm talking about is, so if you've had an animal that was a cat, maybe that scratched you, or the dog that's like kind of like freaking, look how the dog's looking at you. If that dog is looking around you, that dog is seeing spirits with you and or angels. And there's some dogs too, they're scared. They get scared, especially when they are seeing that this being standing next to you is not solid like you are. So it does. The dog, like, yeah, and the cat too. The cat might just like scratch and just want to get out of the way, which is kind of funny. It's like, hey, thanks for leaving me. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yes, so they are very intuitive. But what the point of that is, I don't want you to walk away though from that experience and say, oh man, I must be a bad person because the dog was growling at me and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the case. Not the case at all. No. It's because chances are the dog is seeing someone around you, which is really nice. So that is, my little show for this evening. I thought I would keep it short. If anybody has any questions, and I will say good night to Melanie. But you guys, if you want to schedule a session with me, send me janiedaly@gmail.com. And I should say in the message, could you put reading or session? Don't leave it blank, because I get a lot of mail, like a lot of mail. But also if you can hit subscribe, hit like, share, definitely share my channel, pass the word around. I do lives Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30. And Saturday morning, I tried last Saturday, 10 o'clock is a little early, but everybody's saying that's a good time for shows. So Saturday mornings then at 10 o'clock. So our next live show will be Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And I am working on doing the chakra cleansing. So I have not forgotten that. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. And for the replay, thank you for listening. Love you guys. Good night and God bless. Or I should say, have a good day. Many, many angel blessings. Oh, one more thing. Thank you. Thank you for the kindness that you show to others. Thank you. And just know you're loved.